1,000 yuan, you can get the standard version of the Huawei Nova 14 Ultra, featuring the latest Kirin 8020 chip and a pure Harmony OS architecture. It also boasts the same 50MP 3.7x telephoto lens as the Nova 14, a side-mounted fingerprint sensor, variable aperture and Beidou satellite calling, features absent in the PUA 90, and a 50MP dual front camera, unavailable in the PUA and Mate series. Some viewers might be wondering why I didn't tell you about this great phone sooner. Don't worry, advantages and disadvantages go hand in hand. This video will take a detailed look at what the Nova 14 Ultra, possibly the most cost-effective phone under 100,000 yuan, offers. First, the front features a 6.81-inch 1.5K screen with a quad-curved design. While the screen width doesn't seem particularly narrow. Fortunately, the 4-width bezels offer decent visuals and colors, and support a maximum refresh rate of 120 Hz. However, in the settings, if you select Smart, most apps only support a refresh rate of up to 90 characters, only High provides a global 120 Hz. Personally, I feel this is somewhat detrimental to battery life. The first major drawback of the phone is its plastic frame. It's practically unavoidable after prolonged use unless you regularly clean the area between the phone and its case. Otherwise, even a small amount of debris will cause scratches, significantly affecting the appearance. The back uses 2.5D curved glass with a subtle checkered texture inside. While it still attracts fingerprints, they aren't particularly noticeable. I personally find the camera rather ugly. I prefer the horizontal, large module design of the Nova 15 and later models. The 78mm thickness and 209g weight are fairly average. The top speaker is also an additional opening. Side fingerprint sensors are a matter of personal preference. I personally dislike them. Comfort is a priority over short focus fingerprint sensors. And for those wanting to buy the chip at the original price, I have a foolproof way to get a brand new Huawei Nova 14 Ultra for just 9.9 yuan. This rock bottom price flash sale is an official 10th anniversary promotion combined with the summer sale. With the school season approaching, the platform is releasing this batch of brand new stock to boost sales and reputation. You can grab it even without student verification, just 9.9 yuan. I tried and got one. It's brand new, genuine, officially backed by after-sales service, a 10-fold refund for fakes. Buy with confidence. I still have 5,000 exclusive purchase slots for viewers. Click the link in the comments to lock in your spot. Don't miss this fresh deal. You'll have to buy it at the original price if you miss it. For those looking to upgrade their phones, hurry up and upgrade your performance. The Kirin 8020 is essentially a youth version of the Kirin 9010S, with a performance difference of around 15%. Daily smoothness is perfectly fine and can basically meet the daily needs of most users. It's indeed better than I expected. I thought many transition animations would be cut or the response time would be slow. However, the overall experience is still quite good. But this is only true for daily use. In terms of gaming, or simply performance testing aspects, even with Harmony OS's strong optimization, it's still completely inadequate for a game at this price point, around 2,000 yuan. Even with Honor of Kings supporting HD and 120 frames per second, playing a couple of rounds is quite good, with very stable frame rates and no frame drops. Peacekeeper Elite only supports a maximum of 90 frames per second. Using smooth graphics and 1080p resolution for testing, the overall frame rate reached 89.9 frames per second, which looks perfect, but the gaming experience was terrible. Personally, I don't quite understand how this frame rate is achieved. After playing for more than 20 minutes, the back of the phone gets hot and the screen lag is very noticeable. For example, in the final circle, picking up bullets, switching weapons, or throwing bombs is visibly slow, a noticeable difference from the reaction speed at the start of the game. For example, it's very uncomfortable for players who use touch controls to quickly swipe the screen. It makes me feel dizzy. I think a normal 90 frames per second shouldn't be this level, at least not for most FPS mobile games. I feel it's quite uncomfortable to play on a Huawei phone, and the gaming experience is terrible. I don't recommend this phone for users with heavy gaming needs. In terms of camera, the Vivo series and Oppo Reno series, which are in the same category as the Huawei Nova, haven't seen much improvement in camera performance in recent generations, and have even slightly downgraded. So the camera configuration of the Nova 14 Ultra is quite impressive. The main camera boasts a 10-stop variable aperture, f1.4 to f4.0, a 50MP 3.7x telephoto lens, dual rear flash, and a 50MP dual front camera. The hardware specifications are definitely not inferior. Compared to phones in the 2,000 yuan price range, you'd be lucky to even have a telephoto lens. This camera configuration is great for everyday shooting, photography enthusiasts, and those who want more options. The camera configuration of the Nova 14 Ultra is on par with some standard versions of phones starting at 3,000 yuan this year. If you're buying it for its photography capabilities, it's perfectly fine. The 5,500 mAh battery capacity seems small, but in 2026, can you really use it without at least 7,000 mAh? However, thanks to the optimization of the Harmony OS system, daily use feels quite good. 8 hours of comprehensive testing. With 53% battery remaining, this level is similar to the 7,000 mAh and 7,500 mAh batteries I tested before, such as the iQ15T with an 8,000 mAh battery. After 8 hours, it still had 58% remaining. There's really no difference unless you're using a 9,000 mAh or 10,000 mAh battery. Otherwise, the difference in battery life is minimal, only about half an hour to an hour. Meanwhile, current Huawei phones and chargers from Alipay all use this small 100W dual C-port charger, which even supports up to 65W PPS protocol. If purchased separately, it would cost over 100 yuan. I feel this charger is a benchmark for current mobile phones. In actual charging tests, starting from 20% in top mode, it takes an hour to fully charge. It uses UFCS throughout, not Huawei's proprietary SCP protocol, so the charging scheduling is indeed relatively weak. Other aspects. For example, it supports IP69 dust and water resistance, supports beta satellite navigation, and has dual speakers with independent openings on the top. Compared to the Huawei 90 Pro Max, it has upgraded screen, camera performance, fast charging, and water resistance. Its only remaining advantage is battery life, it has nothing else. Even compared to the newly released Nova 16 SE, it leads in all aspects except for battery life. I believe any user who knows about mobile phones knows which one to buy. Apart from being an older model, its other configurations truly surpass all the new Huawei phones released recently. So, do you think the Huawei Nova 14 Ultra is worth buying? Welcome to leave your comments in the comment section. I'm Lao Wang, see you next time.